Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. It is technically 4:32 a.m., although I don't think, because most of my viewers are asleep, that I'm going to be posting this right after I record it. It's actually been really nice to record a video like 6 hours before I post it, because it used to just be record and post, record and post, record and post, and that was taking the love out of YouTube. And yes, if you post 3 times a day instead of 5, you get less money. But for those of you that want to support my channel, especially in this new charity adventure I'm doing, if you watch the whole video or if you just do a playlist, that helps. I know that's obvious, but like, I kind of want to get to the point where I only post 2 to 3 videos other than a live stream a day. I think 4 is my magic number, and because I am literally 4, I would like to have that happen, but I don't know if it's possible. Although the 4 is needing to be moved, because that is very strange. So let me first say that I wouldn't believe me if I didn't see what I saw on Tuesday night. So if I'm you, I'm a journalist, right? Be skeptical. Roll your eyes. Think I'm too tired. Or I'm in a state of shock. Because if you don't believe that it's possible to be filled with so much gratitude that you speak in a speed that is unintelligible, then, my friend, I respect your belief, but you have to know that historically human beings, when they are filled with the fruits of the Spirit, of kindness and joy and love and gratitude, when you make all the connections to your story, you will realize that every day of your life is like a comic book. Every day of your life is like a different episode of a comic book. And the biggest lie that we tell ourselves as humans is that our days are not connected. But if that was true, it would be like 50 first dates. Every day we'd wake up and it would be like a fresh start. But we have this thing called our memory. Now, obviously, sometimes your memory can be damaged. But in general, most human beings have a memory. And that allows us to tell a story. And we are all trying to make sense out of our lives. We're just doing the best we can. And I am a believer that I have met great and horrible people. The friendliest people and the biggest jerks from all political parties, from all religions, from all sexual orientations, from all races, because our bodies are essentially just keeping our spirit inside until the spirit is gone. And I believe that I have cracked the code in my new charity to help encourage especially young people who are addicted to depression and anxiety because social media is rotting their brains. I believe that this charity is going to make them try a new algorithm where instead of looking for people to hate or reasons to hate their body or reasons to hate their parents or reasons to hate themselves, they're going to look for reasons to do random acts of kindness. They're going to look for reasons to try to heal the world. And so I was thinking about this and how I don't know why the universe or God, whoever you want to say, has called me for this charity. I don't know why me, other than the fact that there are some biblical things about my life that check out. Immaculate conception, check. Multiple births, check. Single parent, check. So poor that we got paid by the government one month because our mom was a mom of triplets that made like $28 in a month. So the government, apparently, if you have 3 kids and you make $28 in one month, you get like a $200 check, which doesn't really do much. But that's how poor we were. So poor the government paid us to live in their housing. Now that is poor. That's like a whole new level of poor. So think about that. I went from being so poor that I lived in a glorified storage closet with 2 other brothers. Remember, I'm 6'3". Most people don't know I'm 6'3". They think I don't know, 5'7" or something because I sit in front of a computer screen. But I am indeed 6'3". And I just want you to know, in my head at that moment, while I'm talking to Mama Bear on this Tuesday night live stream, if you don't believe me, go to about the 37-minute mark. Okay? And notice, if you play Tuesday night, I'm jamming out more, I'm relaxed, I'm free, I'm happy. I am not consumed with any stress whatsoever. I'm getting to talk to my subscribers. I'm getting to talk to Mama Bear, who is, of course, if you don't know, the co-host of this channel. She is the president of this channel, and she has earned all of my love and gratitude. And sometimes she accepts my money. Sometimes she puts it underneath her couch cushions. True story. Ask her if you don't believe me. Even if it's $100 bill. Yes, I know. That is also an unbelievable story that happens to be true. Anyhow, I was thinking about my life, and I was thinking about how I used to be homeless, and I was thinking about how I used to just run away from home, and I would look up at the New Mexico stars, and I would think, I want to do something great with my life. I don't want to live an ordinary life. I want to live an extraordinary life. Please use me to love people and to not just waste my life. And I would look up on those New Mexico stars every day, and they would give me hope. And you need to know that, YouTube, because I am going free to play, and it's very difficult because I love opening crystals in this game. But if you are not familiar with MCOC and you happen to click on this video because of the title or something, I spend about $5,000 a year on this mobile game. And for those of you who think, wow, that is really unhealthy, I have made over $10,000 this year playing a game on YouTube. Now, it's been thanks to generous donations and just people who believe in my heart, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the brain, maybe not. Depends how you like somebody who has an analogy brain. But speaking of which, you all need to know something about me. This is story time with Prof. Hoff. You're just going to have to live with this brain, okay? Again, it's 4:39 in the morning, and I'm hanging out with my computer. And when you develop a form of schizophrenia that actually goes happy manic because you're so happy to be alive, then suddenly you find yourself talking to your webcam by yourself. Remember, the only reason I'm so comfortable doing this is I did this for National Public Radio when I was at the University of Missouri in undergrad, trying to win journalism awards, and by the way, succeeding. And yes, that's a bit of a flex, but it happened. I should be proud of myself. So, when I was in third grade, I had no self-confidence. I moved from New Braunfels, Texas with my triplet brothers and single mom and grandparents to a very, very small town of Ruidoso, New Mexico. Population still under 8,000. But the amount of locals that actually live in the town year-round, between both, it just feels like it's almost like maybe 6,000, but maybe it's even closer to 5,000. It's the only town that I know of in New Mexico that as the population increases, the size of the school district decreases because people just want to buy up the affordable housing for rentals. And it's happening everywhere, right? This is not a Ruidoso, New Mexico problem. But just imagine you are driving, right? You're driving along in the New Mexico desert between Alamogordo, New Mexico. You pass by Tularosa. You're not yet to Roswell. There's got to be at least a couple of New Mexico fans that are freaking out that I'm saying towns they actually know for once in my channel's history. And so you're driving, and you don't expect to see anything but desert. And let's say it's February. And all of a sudden you look up, and this mountain hits you like a ton of bricks. This mountain takes your breath away because it is the most beautiful mountain you've ever seen. And you were just looking at dead cactuses, tumbleweeds, and maybe, just maybe, some roadrunners. The official bird of New Mexico. Shout out Land of Enchantment, Zia symbol. So, we see this mountain, okay? This is Mother Nature. This is gorgeous. This is irrefutable. You can look away from it, but that's like denying the warmth of towels out of the dryer for your soul. That's like saying, I don't need a hot cup of tea in the morning when I'm shivering and I just need to feel warm. Because this mission that I'm on, YouTube, is about two things. Two things that transcend all labels, because labels are social constructs that we make for ourselves as human beings. We don't come into the world as Democrats or Republicans. We get that identity over time in society. We don't come into the world as anything besides babies trying to hopefully survive, which would sum up a lot of adults, to be honest. So, this mountain gave me hope for 18 years, even when I felt like I didn't have a lot of reason to hope as a kid that couldn't afford school pictures or even shoelaces half the time for my shoes. So, in terms of the Prof Hoff symbol, and yes, you see right there The Prof Hoff logo made by White Mummy. Shout out, look him up on Twitter. He's one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life, and I am not being kind. I am being honest. That is 100% real. So I wanted my Prof Hoff logo to be transformed into the New Mexico skyline and the stars that it gave me hope for all those years ago. This is what the Charity 501 3C looks like. And by the way, I just talked about how I spent $5,000 on the game usually, and I haven't spent $5,000 on the game yet. This year, I probably have spent about $1,000. I would say that's a ballpark figure, which for me is about average, I guess, at this point. Maybe actually it's about under average. I don't know. Point being, this is the charity logo, and a 501c3 usually takes about 3 to 6 months to approve a charity foundation from the United States government. So I am prepared to wait 3 to 6 months for this to become a thing, but there are people in my town that are making nothing. Like, they have no insurance, they have no security, they can't even afford to, if they own a home, get fire insurance, because my town is in a forest, and the forest often burns, and there are very dangerous fires going right now in Ritos, New Mexico. These people are hurting. They don't need money in 3 to 6 months. They need money now. And so I partially said I'm going to not spend money on this game any longer so I can give the foundation of the local college that is already approved and doesn't have to wait 3 to 6 months, $5,000 of my own money, that it was made 100% thanks to YouTube donations. So for those of you who donated to my YouTube channel this year, I did not spend a penny of it. I just put it in savings and had it try to gain interest so that I could give it to something like a foundation. How cool is that? So think about that mountain, think about that symbol, and what would that look like combined if you were a kid? Like, I used to run away from home at night, right? My mom would be in bed, my brothers would be asleep. 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom government housing, the poorest place in town. I learned what an ankle monitor was before a TV monitor because my neighbor had just gotten out of prison. I learned 4 different kinds of drugs and what they were and what they do to your brain. At the time, I thought I was just in like drug class. I didn't realize that was probably something you shouldn't tell a 6-year-old. But hey, I still remember it. That's a core memory. So speaking of just remembering things, what if I told you I combined both those symbols into a pitch to Mr. White Mummy on Twitter, and he, in like one night, made this? Now, I know I've explained this before. I have a video on my channel that I talked about this, but when I was thinking about how the constellation of my life's mentors and choices and the miracles that have happened just for my families to be born, especially with triplets, the only triplets in my family history, it's just impossible to think that all of these things are coincidences. I do not have enough faith to think that everything in my life is coincidence. And so I want to darken the screen and bring you back to where this all started, because all of a sudden I was consumed as I was dancing to the music of my channel and thinking about the cash that people were donating that I was going to be able to use for my hometown, and just wondering how I got so lucky as to be the person that the universe chose to have this message. I was overcome with gratitude, and my brain all of a sudden live on YouTube was going so fast that it was seeing every connection that I have ever made to the universe, because the universe wants to write your story and make it a good one. That's why, in theory, God is the ultimate script writer if you choose to follow him, because it's just fun to follow the fruit of the Spirit and be kind and empathetic and grateful to people, which is why I want to change the YouTube algorithm on my YouTube channel. I'm going to ask the local classes in my area, high schools, middle schools, in different towns. Capitan, New Mexico, shout out. Hondo, New Mexico, shout out. Heck, Carrizozo, New Mexico, shout out. Tularosa, and yes, Ruidoso. Those of you who are in those towns, you know those are towns. I'm going to have them maybe compete against each other to see who can do the kindest thing in the community. And the student that does the kindest thing in the community, now I'm probably going to have to give the money to their parents, but this community in MCOC taught me that $100 goes a long way. That is what's called an Odin. For a long time, it was the most expensive purchase in the game. So $100 kind of taught me it was the threshold. And so I'm thanking my MCOC community by making it a $100 charity per per contest, because you all might think $100 is nothing, but to a family that's been eating nothing but peanut butter and jelly all week because they can't afford rent in a hometown that the average rental properties is like $1,200 right now for a couple bedrooms, and families are making like $2,000 a month. So they're using 70 to 80% of their income just on rent. It's, if you ask Dave Ramsey how that goes, just wait for a rant. So, point being, I can now start a charity that rewards gratitude by having people film the gratitude. They submit it to me. I give all name credit to them. I am only the server. YouTube's just a server, right? So my YouTube charity is going to be a server for just random acts of kindness and gratitude. Really random acts of kindness to start, I should clarify. It's just going to be a channel that my face is not going to be in it. I just want people to go to the Prof Hoff charity channel, the Prof Hoff, I should give the full name, the Prof Hoff Fruit of the Spirit Charity Foundation. And just expect to see kindness. And if you need to smile, imagine if somebody submits a video, get creative, right, of helping a blind dog up some stairs. You don't want to watch that to heal your soul when you just had someone yell at you and you feel like there are demons and darkness coming up at you. Yeah, that's what I get to start this charity channel, because my MCOC channel led to a channel that's trying to change the social media algorithm by rewarding kindness, generosity, and gratitude instead of victimization, hatred, and dunking on people, which is currently what the social media algorithm promotes. So in the end, I have no regrets that I spoke in tongues and saw how all the patterns of my life came together, because when I was in third grade, when I was 8 years old, I got a preview of this week on Tuesday. Believe it or not, in 1996, I took a gifted and talented test that I had failed in Texas. Hardcore. Texas gifted and talented, it's like, hey, name the parts of an airplane. And I'm like, I couldn't do that now, even if I winged it. And so instead of being propelled to something else, I propelled myself to what's called a language analogy and comparison gifted and talented test. And most students stopped on page 2, because that's when about the 5th grade level happened. And I can't even remember what the minimum you had to do to say that you were gifted, which is also a shout out to all the people all these years who've been asking me, Prof, you should do a professor of gifted students analysis of rosters. And I definitely should. And I'm sorry if only MCOC people get that. But regardless, I was just thinking about how I went from being homeless to owning 2 homes in cash and giving my fiance Israel and her kids the home of their dreams that they can be on separate stories on, and they can just relax and rest and have space, because the poorer you are in the world, the less space you have. And the less space you have, the less safe you feel. So the more space you have, the more safe you feel. And the more safe you feel, the more gratitude you can have for your life. But you can't have gratitude if you're in fight or flight mode. It's literally consciously impossible to do that. So back to this video. I was staring into like a kaleidoscope of my life. Imagine you saw all of a sudden all of the amazing moments and the heroes that you had growing up in sports and in life, and all the mentors you had, and all the people that the universe tried to send your way to teach you how to love light and not fall for darkness. To teach you that you only get 2 email sources in your head. One is from God, call it Gmail, and one is from the devil, call it spam or junk mail. Or if those words are triggering to you, call it light and darkness. The light wants you to own up to the fruits of the Spirit for the good of your soul. And by owning up, I mean owning it. Walking around and being kind and happy, and all the junk mail's coming your way, but you're like, psh, I'm not going to read that crap. I'm going to be kind. So I'm kind. And in the process of being kind, I realized that I get to live the extraordinary life that the abused kid for a mom that was overwhelmed with triplets and making, golly, like maybe $100 a week at times, maybe, for 3 kids. Imagine how hard it would be to have gratitude. By the way, my mom and I have a great relationship now. She apologized for everything a couple weeks ago. My life is changing and I'm on fire for it. But I'm so on fire that I spoke in tongues. Because at that moment, I swear to you, I looked down. You can see me around 37 minutes, look down. Let me see if I can hide my webcam. There we go. You can see me look down because I'm staring into a kaleidoscope at that moment. And Mama Bear is so scared for me that she's saying, I don't even know what you're saying. Because I was staring and I was saying, oh my gosh, that's why I was a San Antonio Spurs fan. That's why I was introduced to like the gods of sports, from Michael Jordan to Tiger Woods to Barry Bonds. All of these sports heroes that my brothers and I, in the poorest town in New Mexico, but with the richest generosity of and friendliest superheroes of unsung heroes of the community, were all we needed. And of course, the beautiful mountains don't hurt, even though we couldn't afford to ski. So, in the end, I found God by being so grateful with the music playing all these years. This YouTube channel that no one's ever heard of, and it annoys more people in this sub-community than I could have time to say, has raised $300,000 for this world. What could, and hardly, like I think 100,000 people minimum probably play this game worldwide. 100,000 people are playing this game, and in my lifetime I've made 300 grand just being me and not being a very good gamer at all. What could we raise for the money of my hometown? Money that's going to go to teachers for free school supplies. Money that's going to go to small businesses that are restaurants supporting the town, and they have to wait and only give a free meal when they see a random act of kindness. Imagine walking into a restaurant and you hold open the door for someone. Let's say it's an elderly woman. And you feel good about that because you know that woman could have easily slipped and fallen if she ran into that door, but you're not going to worry about yourself for the moment. You're going to help her. And then you get to the front and you order a bacon cheeseburger, french fries, and ranch. Not that that's a specific meal I order all the time or anything. No, not me, never. And they say, I saw what you did. I really appreciate you letting that woman come in. It's on me. It's on the Prof. Hoff Fruit of the Spirit Charity Foundation. What is that? Oh, just something that wants to reward gratitude. The reason why universal basic income doesn't work is that if you're a horrible person, you're rewarded just as much as if you're kind. So you're not incentivized to be a good person in your community. You're actually incentivized to be a jerk and be lazy and be depressed and not be a light in this world. But if you change your brain chemistry to get excited about looking for the ways to be grateful for your own life and thinking of all of the eclectic constellations of your life that make up your own shooting star. And I guarantee you can think of so many people. Shout out Abbott Elementary, because the janitor of Abbott Elementary was the janitor, at least in the spirit of it, of so many of my 6th grade, of middle school, of high school, because they were the most interesting person. They'd lived like 500 lives. They had pictures of their kids in their wallet. And even though they made nothing, they were the happiest person that worked there. They just smiled and sang to themselves. And my original dream was to be a middle school janitor, because he was the most happy person I had ever met in a school system. And I thought, I just want to be happy with whatever I do. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to have to run away from home and look up at the New Mexico stars. So remember, the final part of this charity, if you are new to this and you clicked on this video, imagine that you give all you can to this charity to save my hometown. $1. Because the Bible says that $1 for some people actually means more than $1 million for someone who's worth $1 billion, for example. So they give $1. I appreciate every dollar I've ever received on this channel, and you all know, other than what I give to Uncle Sam, I've given 80% of my wealth away in this world. Just giving it away to people in need, because it is so much fun. It's like the best. So, you're thinking, Prof. Hoff is an arrogant egomaniac because his name's in the stars, because he thinks he's a star, and if at best he's a D-list star. D for definitely not a star. Well, fair enough. Let's say that's true. I don't want to be any more important in my own charity than anybody else. So White Mummy is going to send me the template for this. And then if you donate $1, I am going to give you an opportunity to change the name in the template from Prof. Hoff to whatever 2 lines of code, which also shout out Home Alone 2, with 2 turtle doves between Mr. Duncan and Macaulay Culkin's own Kevin McAllister, who I love Home Alone and Home Alone 2, 2 of my favorite movies. I believe they're A+, and you can never tell me otherwise. And my brother Dylan and I used to have fierce debates, that identical twin debate that only identical twins can understand about what was better. And he would make great points and I make great points. And I think, damn, I don't even know who won that debate, I gotta be honest. So we are in a position for you to change the 2 lines of code on this. And all I want you to do is put your name in the stars to know that you are loved in this world, because there are so many people in your life that you need to thank for making a difference that you have forgotten to do. And they have forgotten that they made a difference. I guarantee you. They haven't thought about it since it happened. So when you thank at least 3 people, because I'm a triplet, so got to do things in threes. If you thank at least 3 people, that's the whole charity. And then you print off your name in the stars, and you remember that your life is full of those unsung heroes, those shining stars in the sky, the eclectic constellation of mentors of your life that you're going to be so grateful for, while also encouraging kids in school to stop posting things that make their classmates want to kill themselves, but instead post things that make their classmates want to give back. And I know that sounds like some Sunday school lesson, but I can see the vision of this. That vision was completed in the kaleidoscope of Talking in Tongues Tuesday night. Go back and listen to it. Think of me for how I was able to connect everything. But guess what? It wasn't me that was able to do it. It was the spirit of my soul that was so filled with gratitude, because the fruits of the Spirit, the highest form of that is gratitude. I was so grateful for my life, YouTube, because I could easily have been dead already. I could easily have stayed in my town and made $18,000 a year. And the most famous thing I ever did, which is fine, is like give a speech at church. Yeah, but instead I left so I can come back. And right now, no one has put any money in the charity but me, because I don't want anyone to do it until I have given everything I have. It is only until I have given everything that I have that I can expect anyone to give to me. So guess what? $50,000. I'm going to give it back to my town. It's what's left in the YouTube fund. It's all of the savings I have. It's going to my hometown. $100 at a time. Speaking in tongues on YouTube. Probably a first. Thanks for watching. And if you didn't believe any of this and you're freaked out,